part of our training, just having a little bio break. Oh, I'm going to plug this in so that we have power. Power is always good. Let me take a moment to get it juiced up. 1 second. There we go. All right, always good. Always good to have the power. Okay. Thank you for the tiny pause. Oh, okay. We're just going to let that do what it's going to do then. Cool. So now we're coming back, getting into the swing. We're going to finish up our chillaxing sequence, focusing on the heart. We had a great little discussion. Just want to say over again the importance of us feeling the field around us, feeling this bubble of energy. So I'm going to do just some really simple movements to get in tune and in touch with our bubble, with our body of light. So we're going to hold on to the bottom of the leg loops. And I want you to just start to feel your pillar. So really simple. We're going to, I have my feet hip distance apart so I can just move a little bit easier. But I'm going to start to feel the vertical axis that is running from the crown of the head to the tailbone, with my heart being the center point, keeping my attention in my chest, in my sternum. And then I'm going to go ahead and just start to trace the field around me, trace this bubble of energy. And the swing is so great because the way it's designed, I can press down and actually start to feel the full length. And even if we're in a different pose, even if we're upside down or in a horizontal position, level with the earth, I want you to feel this pillar and I want you to find your bubble. What happens a lot of times is we will collapse. And so when we start to spin and spiral along this vertical axis, imagine us being like the planet Earth. We're our own body of energy, just like the earth is, and the earth has poles. So we have our north and south pole, and then we can spin on axes around that pole, and that's what creates the electromagnetic field. So most people have seen that the earth has like an aura or its atmosphere. Well, so do we. And we spin along this pillar, and you can see if it's collapsed or if it's kinked or to the side, it'll have a wobble. And then there will be an unevenness in the way that the energy is flowing. Sometimes we don't have enough energy in our lower body. Sometimes we have not enough energy in our upper body. We want to start to balance that by getting our poles plugged in. And one of the ways that I keep the alignment is I was telling the ladies, I have the cue to not only have the crown of the head pulling up towards the sky like on a kite. You want to look up just a little bit to the top corner of the room. Not look up with your neck, but look up with your eyes and feel the lift that happens in your body. So you'll hear me just give this cue, look up. And when I say look up, I'm not like looking up at the sky. I'm saying lift your chin, lift your gaze, and feel how that changes the whole ergonomics of the upper body. We're going to work with the 2 spirals this weekend, a lot of opening of the chest, and so this is called an external spiral when we come into our thumbs up, and this is an internal spiral. So if you have your hands down at your hips like a Superman pose, this is internally spiraling the shoulder, and that's usually the position we're in. At the computer, driving, everything is an internal spiral. Well, the external spiral is what opens up the chest. So the poses we're going to do next is going to work with opening up the chest in this cactus position. And you'll notice that it'll just be like easy to come down like this and do the poses where your hands are closer to your hips or ribs. See if you can practice the external spiraling, because that is going to open up the energy field from the heart to the head. And when we lift the shoulders, then the shoulder blades can slide down the back, and this takes so much pressure off the C7 joint and the space behind the heart, which is collapsed around in. So we're opening up so that we have this long line of energy and the strong pillar, and then we can spin along that axis, and this is how we start to move the energy in the body and balance the left and right. So we're also going to just be aware that we have two different energies. Every single being has a masculine and feminine side. These are not gender roles. They're not gender specific. We just basically have certain characteristics that we associate with the masculine and certain characteristics we should associate with the feminine. So we want to think of the lower body as a pyramid pointing down with like a wide base. So we have a strong pyramid at the bottom of our field, and then we want to think of this pyramid that's upside down like a satellite dish coming down, and that would be the yang or the solar energy. So we're marrying both the yang and the lunar or the cooling and yin. So when we have the masculine and feminine, the up and down, the left and right all balanced, the body works way better. And most people have a dominant side. Most people have like a dominant role, either more yin or more yang, but we want balance. We want harmony. It doesn't necessarily have to be 50-50 each day, but we want to have a balance between being energized or excited, activated, and also being cool and calm and bringing the energy down when we want to bring more relaxation into the body. So we're going to boost the energy and bring it up, and then we're going to bring it back down and end with a nice long shavasana in the swing, which I call cocooning, which is a world-class favorite. It's everybody's favorite. So let's enjoy the activity. Let's enjoy the yang, and then we're going to bring it back down and balance it with the yin. And so we do that with the breath too. So every inhalation is a rising and an arching and a lifting, and every exhalation is just going to be soothing and calming and releasing, so that we, even in every moment, our breath is inhaling, fill ourselves up, exhaling, empty, and bring the energy back down. So when we inhale, we lift, and when we exhale, we release and set the energy down. So we're going to practice that in the swing and in the movements, so that we're balancing our breath, our inhalation and exhalation, we're balancing the left and right, and then we're balancing the up and down by focusing on their pillar and our body of light. So when we're spinning, let's spin from the heart. Let's spin from our arms being straight out into a T, and we're creating this space, even if we're upside down or even if we are in a forward fold. Find your pillar, find that alignment, and have that just be your intentionality and focus for today. Okay, we're gonna hop back in, inhaling arms up. Exhale, hug the swing, press it down. We're coming back into our chillaxin pose just for one more round. Come right into your forearm press, seated position. Drop your hips, open your heart. Even here, see how I'm externally rotating the shoulders? This is why I use the forearm press. It's to get that big opening through the chest and balance all of that internal rotation of the shoulders. So keep the arms up and pressing in to strengthen the underbelly of the arm. One leg loop at a time. We're going to come back in a little bit faster this time. Karate chop that leg in there one way or another. Use your core if you can, and then hang just for chillaxin. So we're going to go right into our next sequence, that is the butterfly, skydiver butterfly sequence. So in this pose, you can spread out the leg loops as I've shown you before, which is totally fine if you want a bit of an easier version, because that way you'll have more surface area, and we're going to pull ourselves up by holding on to the top of the leg loops. So we're coming back and forth. So we're leading with the heart and look up. So notice it's pretty common to collapse, right? So we're actually pressing our pubic bone down and back to lead with the heart, right? So it's a little bit different. So if you feel comfortable bunching up the leg loops at the knees, let's try that version, or just stay up. So we always reach for our knees and slide up the leg loops as high as we can. Inhale, arch and open, lift, lead with the heart, look up. Exhale, round and squeeze. So it's like our chill flow. Inhale, arch and open, lead with the heart. Yes, so see our arms are still in that cactus position, pressing forward, opening the chest. And then exhale, round and squeeze. Roll it in, almost like a child's pose. A few more rounds like this. Inhale, lift. Good. Exhale. Sit back down. Take a little pause. Inhale, lift. So we're doing our strength and our stretch all in one, always. Exhale, squeeze. Bring the energy back in. Inhaling, lift. So let's stay up. Now that we're here, we're warmed up a little, you can bring your arms in front. And I'm going to keep leaning forward. So to lean forward, I pull my feet back behind me. So now I'm in skydiver, one of our favorite poses. You can start to bank a little from side to side if that feels good. The leg loops might naturally slide up a little. That's fine too. They'll do what they're doing. Just keep them even if you can, so you don't like go veering off in one direction. So from our skydiver, we're gonna bend our elbows, but remember, stay up here in cactus. And then we're gonna bend our knees and bring our feet together. Lift your feet a little higher, and then allow your hips to drop. These are little cues that are super important. If you pull your feet down, your hips sink back. If you pull your feet up, your hips lean forward. Yeah, very good. Now this is a big stretch. This is one of the most powerful poses that we do in the beginner series, the basic training. We're opening up the heart. Keep your gaze slightly forward. So it's easy to drop your head here, right? So keep your pillar no matter what position we're in, and let the crown of the head pull away from the tailbone and get a little bit, just a tiny bit of engagement through the core, lifting your navel in and up so that we're not collapsing through the lower back. And then you can flutter a little from side to side. You can go ahead and pull one foot down and bring the other foot up. Yeah, really good. Stretch out the hips, stretch out the shoulders, working both hubs at the same time. And then go ahead and pull your feet back down towards the ground, sink back, catch yourself. Your hands might fall asleep a little if you stay there too long, so just shake it out. Reset in our chilaxin. So if we push one knee down and the other knee down, we naturally come into our sway and swagger. The more that we sway from side to side, the more the body opens. It's kind of like pizza dough. It starts out kind of tight and immalleable, and then as we start to massage and manipulate and create more mobility, then it starts to loosen up. So that's what the fascia is like. So this gentle rocking and pulsing and repeating is what heals the body, and it's fun. Okay, so notice that we are still tracing the shape of our bubble with our body. And that we want to continue to feel our pillar and our axes, as well as the body of light around us, and stay connected to those two energies today to get in tune with the electromagnetic field, the toroidal force field, and we're going to get into the double star tetrahedron and Merkaba on Monday and talk a little bit more about the sacred geometrics of the body, which are some of my favorite things, favorite topics. Come on back to center. Let's try that one more time. I like to repeat that just so we can loosen up and get the benefits with each round. We're going to inhale, bicep curl lift, open it up, lead with the heart, look up. Exhale, round in, squeeze your navel to the back of the spine. Inhale, lift, lead with the sternum. Exhale, squeeze. Inhaling, very good. And exhaling. Inhaling, lift. Exhale, last one, squeeze, round in. You can stay here if you feel like you're done with the skydiver, but if you're ready, let's go right into it. Arms come in front, pull your feet back, and just notice that we're going to tee the arms today. We're going to keep the thumbs in alignment with the shoulders. And then from here, I like to kind of bank a little from side to side to see how that changes the pose, how it changes the structure. You can bend one knee And then the other knee, and just stretch your arms. Stretch your arms in a diagonal. Yeah. Just these tiny little micro movements open up the different little nooks and crannies and crevices of the body. And then come back in, bend the elbows, bend the knees, keep your hands high for this one. See, most people, they do butterfly like this. Then bringing their hands down to their waist. Just showing you what not to do, because that's going to reinforce the internal rotation of the shoulders, and it's not great for the rotator cuff. It's certainly not helping opening up the chest, which is what we're going for here. We want a big opening through the pecs across the collarbones, and so cactus arms or thumbs up by the ears, and then just come down a little bit, and you'll feel the difference in the stretch. I'm pulling my elbows down as I lift my feet up to get the hips pointing down towards the earth a little bit more. Those little cues help. Pull your feet up. And then if you pull your elbows down, you'll feel your chest blossoming just a little bit more. Gaze slightly forward. Don't drop your head. All right? Look forward, look up a little bit. And then I like to, what I call flutter. Pull one foot down, one foot up, and just see what that's like in the hips. Of course, if this is too much on your shoulders, you can bring the leg loops up. We're going to practice that now. Leg loops coming up towards the upper thigh. That's why it's called high skydiver. You can come into the same position, and there'll be less weight to support. So you can always move the leg loops up closer to the torso, and as you move the leg loops up, it gets easier. So we practice with the leg loops at the groin, leg loops at the knees, leg loops at the ankles. And as you move the equipment, the fabric, closer to the ends of the body, the harder it is. So we're just gonna try one more time, coming into our vinyasa flow, but we're gonna focus on moving the leg loops down towards the ankles and try it from a floating Buddha. It's the same sequence, it just feels really different and sometimes harder for people. Let's come back in, sliding into the knees. We have several days to go over all the poses, so we'll eventually get through them all. But chilaxin is kind of the #1 go-to. So sometimes I always start in sumo to get the leg loops on, but then chilaxin is typically #4 in the basic training when you see the review. I'm not actually doing these in order. I'm just doing them with an emphasis on the particular teachings, which is the heart opening, the endocrine system, working with the chakras, working with the spine and the alignment, and understanding how the nervous system works. And now we can do the same vinyasa flow with the leg loops at the ankles, which I call floating Buddha. And you can see it's a little bit more engaging, right? A little bit more intense. So if you need to, always spread out the leg loops. And if you spread out the leg loops, it will be a little bit more restorative. These are all good options. You can do everything with the material spread out. Okay, I'm going to practice at the ankles just so you get the traditional version. But yeah, variations are fantastic. So let's first come into our alignment. Find your pillar. Feel your tailbone pressing down and the crown of the head lifting up and the heart leading the way. And then from there, whatever movement we do, we're going to keep that alignment. So we're not collapsing through the spine. We're twisting and spinning along that axis. This is what heals the body. This is what prevents injury. Instead of getting injured and then learning how to heal that, why don't we just prevent the body from getting an injury in the first place? The only reason why we ever get injured or hurt, unless it was a freak accident, is because we're out of alignment, because the body hasn't been utilized in an intelligent and effective way. So this work that we're doing is, for me, the regenerative therapeutics is preventive. You know, we don't have to get sick. Why don't we just stay healthy? Even if it happens, it happens, but let's really learn from that and keep the body in alignment, keep it functioning optimally, get the organs happy, get the glands and the hormones rebalanced, so we can do that in our practice. So I'm going to come here into the same flow that we did before. focus on the heart blossoming. Go ahead and inhale, come into star. Exhale, namaste. You can see when we push the hips up, it's a little stronger. We get strength and toning through the back body. So hold on to the swing and lean back, ladle. And now we're not going to come into bow because we have the leg loops at the ankles. Just come through, ladle a few times, what we did before. Inhaling, lift, and then exhale, drop back in. Just a few rounds of undulations, letting the heart lead the way, keeping the crown and tailbone communicating. Inhale, lift the hips, the head naturally leans back. Lift the hips more to come into a big arch. And then exhale, drop the hips, keep the core engaged, and the head will rise. So the hips are going to lead the way the whole time. Inhale, lift. Exhale, pause, take a breath here, let that feel good. And then inhale, bicep curl, and move with the currents and with the winds. Okay, so if we tried to come into our skydiver from here, it's very, very challenging. So we're not going to do skydiver and butterfly from here, although we can. We do that in the advanced. Higher and spread out. But if you can, wide straddle, bicep curls, pull-ups, leading with the heart. Notice how challenging it is to lead with the heart here. Notice the head wants to kind of do the work trying to pull us up. But what we do is we bring the legs wide, we push the hips up and let the heart rotate, changing sides. So this is moving into a side tree position. And this is going to be one of the last poses we do, and then we're going to take a little pause and come into some forward folds, which is going to feel really nice. And I'm going to show you how to do the forward folds from our chillaxin pose. So these are some newish sequences. I mean, sequences I've been doing for many years, but newish in terms of they weren't originally included in the aerial yoga play training. So I like to mix it up and add some new things in when we get together and do these virtual trainings. So we're just gently rocking from side to side, hips heavy, heart open, head relaxed back, gaze up. And then from here, I'm going to come to the wide straddle, floating Buddha, bend the knees, come into chillaxin, and then grab for the leg loops. I reach for my knees and slide up as high as I can. And then let's go ahead and lift and squeeze and do a few rounds of the fascia work because the legs get very stagnant. And it depends on your clothing. It really helps to wear more like slippery or gliding clothes. Otherwise, the swing might eat. The leg loops will eat your pants. But for now, if you're wearing short shorts, this will be very uncomfortable directly on the skin. So see if you can find a pair of slippery yoga pants or workout clothes where the leg loops can slide up and down with a little bit more ease. So as we're transitioning here, just dig into the legs and see how that feels. Just giving you a little sample of how I use the swing, kind of like the foam rolling and melting. I can use the swing to start to work out the fascia. And it is very intense. If it feels like ripping, burning, tearing sensation, you're in the right place. That's how we do all the fascia work. So do a little freestyle, free flow, dig into one side and then the other side. This literally is life-changing, like especially with the quads, all the tightness through here. You can actually come into a version of our dancing Shiva and grab for the back foot and let the leg loop slide up a little bit more. Digging into not only the quad muscle, but all the attachments around. So the fascia, just in case anybody is wondering what it is the connective tissue between the skin, muscles, and bones. So it is literally the sheath that's over the entire body. And we're just getting privy and savvy to the importance of the fascia. Over the last few years, I've seen more and more interest and development within the different health genres, especially exercise, that is focusing on the fascia as part of the understanding of the functionality of the body. And since I've been doing various forms of body work for 30 years, my fascia and neuromuscular release has been a big part of my world and my life. So I'm very used to working with the fascia, but it's different when you can work on yourself. Typically, when you go for any sort of Rolfing or structural integration, they're going to work the fascia, but it can be extremely painful, which is sometimes good, you know, to have that torturing sensation. But if we can work our fascia every single day, even here, keep the chest lifted and the crown of the head pointing towards the sky. Notice that there's a tendency to collapse, keep the arch, keep the openness, and then from there, isolate the upper quad, sliding towards the hip flexors. Very good. So this is some transitional poses for us to come back into our high skydiver. Take another moment to complete there, wherever you're at. Get the leg loops nice and high. There is a sweet spot. Make sure it's not twisted, because if it's twisted, that doesn't feel good. You know, you can spread it out, but it's just going to bunch up again. But there is a sweet spot. There's one place that feels better than the others. Got to get creative with it. So from here, we can actually transition the swing in front of us. So coming into forward folds, we normally do this without the leg loops on, but I like this variation for many reasons. And we're going to focus on the same theme today of going into our cat-cow, which I call the cat's meow, focusing on arching and rounding in, and also coming into some twists so that we can find that spin and spiral along the central axes, which opens up all the connective tissue, allows for the nervous system and the energy to flow better down the superhighway of the spine. So when I start out here, I'm going to stand in the center of the mat. You might float because with the leg loops on, we're higher up. You can always take a moment to lower the leg loops if you feel too high, but you're supposed to be floating. So everybody's body is based in the same geometry, which means when you straighten your arms, the swing will hit the top of the legs. So it's not the belly, it's not the bladder. It's all the way down with straight arms so that it's strong. So just even pushing your arms straight and floating is pretty fun and challenging to do. So from here, we're gonna lean forward. We're gonna try and stay grounded for as long as we can. Our feet will come up when our hands come down. We're just playing with that pivot point at the hip crease. Instead of bending at the waist, see if you can get the L shape in the body and let your feet float. So it's okay if you aren't able to see this whole time. You can always turn around so that you can see me while you're practicing upside down. But it's called a folded leaf when we are basically letting the crown of the head fall towards the floor and we're allowing the legs to be level with the earth and level with the hips. Okay, so from here, just see what it's like to do a few cat-cows, even with the feet floating. Inhale, arch, and then exhale, round in and grab for your ankles. See if that's an option. Grab for your ankles. And then inhale, bring your arms forward and arch and open. Very good. Exhale, round in and grab. So forward folds are going to be the yin postures and the cooling postures, but you start to feel the long, large muscles of the back stretching and opening up all of the connective tissue and energy lines that are associated with the meridians and the nadis, the sen lines in Japanese culture. So there's all different names for these same points that we find in our friends and ancient philosophies that have been studying the energy body for thousands of years. So see if you can take a moment to clasp your hands behind your back, pull your arms up and away and overhead, pulling your fingertips away from your toes, and then twisting from side to side very gently. Only go as far as it feels good for today. Can you find your pillar even here while we're upside down? Just let that feel good. And then release. We're going to bring our hands forward again. Take a moment to come back into plank and just bicycle the legs for a second. Now we're taking pressure off the upper back, which is a nice break. And we're feeling the triple hook happening across our hip flexors and the top of our quads. And so we've moved our intense rolfing session down to the front of the hips, the front body. So these are the different hubs and areas, as I mentioned, where we have injury and congestion, and also the collection or the bundles of lymph. And so if it feels like a little balloon is going to burst because it's so sensitive, just see if you can find a sweet spot where you can let the swing slide down maybe a little bit more, bring it up a little higher. You can spread it out, but like I said, it's just going to bunch up again, but at least to take a little break and find a good position. Sometimes I'll come up and just kind of spread it out, come back in and try again. Just so it's like, okay, let me give that a little break because it is intense. And then when I come back in, I can usually find a better spot. Sometimes the body's like, nope, too sensitive, you know, depending on our cycle and our moon, it might be too sensitive sometimes of the month. So honor that. And then after we're bicycling or pedaling, we're gonna go ahead and start to work finding our pillar, just bringing one knee to the elbow. And we're pulling back and forth. You're not going to go far because you have all this material to pull against, but use that as a reference, you know, digging into one side and then the other side, and just feel what's happening there in the hips. It's pretty intense. Pretty amazing that all of that sensation is hiding out in this part of the body that gets so tight from sitting. Sitting happens to be one of the most challenging things we can do for the body, and everybody's doing way too much sitting, especially with work, with computers, and so we have to stretch out the hip flexors and balance it out. And this is one of the ways to wring out the tension that's happening in the lower body. And then if it feels good, bring your feet back down to a version of down dog. We're just going to be up on our toes, stretching our arms out as far as we can. Make a little adjustment. You can lift one leg and then the other leg to spread it out. And then we're going to do our cat-cow with a leg lift. So let's all inhale, arch, lift the right leg up. And exhale, round in, squeeze knee to nose. Inhale, stay with the right leg for 5. Arching and squeezing. Inhaling, lift. And exhaling, draw it in. Slowing it down. We're going to start to come to the end of our practice in just a few minutes here after we get through both legs and do a supported headstand. Then we'll have a nice long shavasana. Inhale, lift. Stay with me. Exhale, squeeze. That foot is going to find ground, and then we inhale, lift the left leg, arch from the heart. And then exhale, round in and pull, knee to nose, navel towards the sky. Inhale, lift. And exhale, squeeze. Even though this is intense, I promise you it's good for you. It's good for the hips. Squeezing in, inhale, arch. Exhale, squeeze. A little different with the leg loop still on. Inhale, lift. Exhale, squeeze. Good. Bring it back down. Let's pop into a wide straddle. Again, we're just up on our toes since we're more elevated than normal. And then we're going to go ahead and plant the left hand down, find your pillar, and then rotating along that axis, lift your right arm up towards the sky and spin. Yeah, see if you can stack your shoulders. Open, open, open as far as possible. Spinning at the heart, spinning from the upper thoracic. Planting the right hand down. Let's switch sides. Left arm up. Spin, open. Yeah, lean into it. You can lean into the right side to get a little further. Go ahead and bring that hand down one more time. Inhale, right arm up. Lean into it. Open, open, open. Bring out the spine. Spin along axis. Bring your gaze up towards your thumb. And exhale, lower. Last time, inhale, left arm up. Open, spin. Yeah. Bring it out. Space, creating space everywhere in your body of light. And then exhale, bring it down nice and slow. We're going to come back down onto our forearms. Let the feet rise, bend the knees. And find your version of supported headstand where you can stay for 3 minutes. If you can, 3 minutes. So you can come out and do a couple of rounds if you need, but the swing is now on the upper thighs. This is one of the best things you can do to traction the spine, letting the spine and vertebrae lengthen out of the pelvis, letting gravity do the work. If your head touches down, fantastic. You can activate the pineal, the pituitary, hypothalamus, the energy managers of the brain. If you're fully suspended and there's no pressure on the neck, fantastic. You're just energetically plugging in your crown to the center of the earth. And now your tailbone lifts up towards the sky. And you just keep your knees engaged. Everything's relaxed, but still slightly engaged. And then see if you can just do a tiny little wiggle or micro movement, whatever it is, to drop in a little bit deeper. And soften, soften through your hip flexors, soften everywhere. Let the sacrum spread. Bring it down. Closing out our practice with a headstand, getting the benefit of reversing the flow, reversing the blood circulation, lymph, releasing the fascia, getting blood and oxygen to places that normally are dehydrated, sticky and stuck. We're working with the underbelly of the body by flipping it over and breathing into the space. Very good. Five more long, deep breaths, remembering that when we inhale, the inhalation fills us up, and when we exhale, it's an expiration. It's what we have released and expired, let go of. The inhalation is our inspiration, filling us up with new life force energy, and the exhale, the expiration, what we have let go of. Emptying out. Finding that balance between expanded and contracted, of full and empty, of all the yin and yang opposites, perfectly balanced, perfectly in harmony with the whole body and our being and what we need. Go ahead and straighten your legs. Let your hands find the front of the mat. And your feet are going to pull down towards the earth, and as your feet pull down, you'll feel the pivot point of the hips, and your upper body will rise. And we're going to come out through angel wings one more time. So with angel wings, we walk our feet forward, press, 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 Get your clothes back on and then come up. So now go ahead and let the swing right up into the navel, into the belly, and just let yourself bank a little from side to side and sway, just like we were doing with our skydiver moves. So all of this is just as beneficial. And take your time, acclimate to being in an upright position, let the whole body benefit from that practice and sequence. And when you're ready, we're gonna pop right into our Shavasana. We'll have a discussion at the end, but go ahead and leave your leg loops on, get the swing behind you, and then see if you can unravel it. So spread it out, make sure it's not twisted. And then from here, grab a big handful and you can hop in. Once you hop in, you can let the leg loops slide towards the knees and make sure that you have enough material behind the back of the head and that you can lean back comfortably with your neck supported. And at the same time, you can spread the leg loops out and just drop right in. I'm gonna do a small guided experience. We will do a longer half-hour deep dive into our meditation practice at the end of our workshop, so stick with us. But for now, we're just going to understand the benefits of basically rebooting and resetting our computer. Like I said, our bodies are the most advanced technology on the planet, and every cell is a little microcomputer. And so when we reboot and restart our computer, restart our system, it gives it a chance to upgrade, do any software upgrades, to service it, to recalibrate and align it to its original blueprint. And so when we reboot like this in our Shavasana, we're gaining the benefits of all the poses, of all that delicious, yummy hard work and play that we just experienced. Okay, so give yourself a big hug. Thank your body for showing up. Send it a huge wave of love and gratitude. And receive. Just drop in like we are cradled and rocked and hugged as infants. Just drop in and receive this divine hug from the universal mother, like we're back in the womb. And feel your imaginal cells like a butterfly rearranging and going into that goo where everything softens and you're finding your new wings, your growing wings. You're learning how to fly and how to float. And this transformation, metamorphosis happens for you. You don't do healing. Healing is given. It's done for you. And we allow it, we let it in, we receive, we open, we align, open, and release to receive. Those are the tags for the aerial yoga play. Open, align, release. And now we receive. Feel your heart in a new way. Feel your new hips. Feel your head relaxing back, maybe for the first time ever, letting your skull relax back. Your brain relax back. Your eyes relax back. We're so head first and head forward in our society. Feel what it's like to lead with the heart, to open from this soul matrix. The highest intelligence comes from the heart brain, 5,000 times stronger than the head brain. And we allow this balance with the belly brain. We have 3 different levels of intelligence in our body. It's not just our head brain. We're going to learn the hollow spheres on Monday and work with these bubbles, the ball of energy around the heart, the ball of energy around the head, and the ball of energy in the pelvis, in the belly and just feel them even. Imagine them the same size and pulsating at the same rate, communicating with one another through these infinity waves, the infinity loops. And if you're not sure, if you can't picture that, I have lots of images that I can share that can give you a visual cue of what this body of light looks like, of what these hollow spheres look like, of the infinity waves. It's fun to play with the visual entrainment, but just feel it in your body for now. Feel the breath breathing you, and how the heart pumps and circulates the energy and blood for you, the oxygen, the exchange. And notice that the body is totally relaxed and light and fluffy. Maybe for the first time in a completely new way, you can enjoy the feeling of floating, of suspension, weightlessness, freedom. Go ahead and take 5 more luxurious minutes to drop into the deep, quiet space within your heart and feel your body from the inside. I will come back and cue you when we're ready to start the workshops, but have a little break. Stay in your cocoon, whatever you need to do to take care of yourself, hydrate, have a little nibble. Enjoy these sacred pauses. Enjoy your body receiving even more. Drink it up like you're quenching a deep thirst. Drink up this energy that is being redistributed and rearranged and recalibrating all the systems. The cocooning naturally boosts your immune system, balances your hormones, and calms the pathways, the nervous system, brain function. Very good. Beautiful practice, guys.
Recording stopped.